Did Jared Leto try to stop the Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie? That is the question and the headline we will be speaking about on today's NBA Heroes.
Yes, John, that is a headline, and it doesn't come as much of a shock because there was a few rumblings a few weeks ago with Jared Leto making some comments about how surprised he was that this film was going ahead from DC. What's your take on this, John? Because obviously there's a few people involved, obviously a few phone calls being made by agents. I've got to say, if this is true, I'm very disappointed in the actor. For someone, you know, who has said that he's a big comic book fan in the past, he must understand that DC, although perhaps when they were doing their DCEU thing, were probably using the template of Marvel. They've certainly moved away from that sort of template over the last 2-3 years now with the standalone stuff, a resurgence of better characters getting their own standalone films, disconnected from the DCEU, although still part of the DCEU, if you know what I mean. Certainly the Joker film, Joaquin Phoenix's, has nothing to do with that. Surely this actor gets that.
Well, you'd think so, Stephen, but clearly not. If this article is correct, of course it's purely speculation. We don't know if it is true or not, but as I do like to say on occasion, some people, there is no smoke without fire.
Yeah.
And this is according to the Hollywood Reporter, who have great renown for speaking the truth. They get a lot of good scoops, so I think there's definitely some meat on the bones to this story. And apparently Leto complained to his agents, who also represent the director of Joker, Todd Phillips, and then, not happy with that and the response he's perhaps got, he's then went and asked his music manager, Irving Azoff, I think it is, to call the leader of Warner Brothers' parent company to try and get the movie shut down, I think, or perhaps just, I don't know, maybe put him in it instead. I have no idea. They don't go into great...
No.
Well, there you go. They say that the plan was to get the studio to kill the project. Though a little source has denied, the actor made the request. So I'm quite disappointed with that, Stephen.
Yeah.
Anytime I've seen Jared in public events speaking and whatnot, he always comes across as quite a down-to-earth guy, quite chilled, not at all been affected by the fame and whatnot. He seems a decent guy. So this seems a little bit strange to me. All the more strange when you obviously know that Joker is not connected in any way to the DCEU.
No.
So it's not impacting his Joker character, although indirectly it is, because people will watch Joker, see what a powerful movie that is, what an incredible performance Joaquin has put in, and then they'll directly compare it to the previous Joker, which was Jared Leto, who had an absolutely shit show of a movie to do his thing in, and even then most of his performance was cut out. So
John,
they're comparing it and there's no comparison.
I think the cynic in me would see this as a deliberate move by the studio, with sort of putting that buffer in place in between both Joaquin Phoenix's performance and Heath Ledger's. Let's do a duff version of him so everyone will appreciate Joaquin's performance. Todd Phillips said he was only doing this film as long as he got Joaquin Phoenix playing the role, so he was never going to have a chance of featuring this film anyway. The other thing as well is that regardless of this rumour, whether it's true or not, is going to have some serious implications going forward for Jared Leto playing the character as well.
No, he's done.
I think so. I think so. Regardless whether this is true or not, I think the studio know this. I think Jared Leto knows this as well, and certainly his agents know this as well.
Absolutely, Stephen, he's done. As far as I'm concerned, he will not be playing the Joker again. Purely from a personal standpoint for him, he'll feel jilted and just put out of place. He'll think, why the hell do I want to go back and associate myself with this character? They've essentially shat on top of me. They've pushed me out the way for this other characters and this other variation of the character, if you like. I'm not going back. And then the studio, after seeing his conduct, if indeed this is true, going behind backs and trying to get projects killed, they will like, no, we're not working with this guy again, even though he is not as a Joker character anyway. They'll not be working with him. I'm absolutely sure if a role comes up completely disconnected, then they'll have no issues going and speaking to Jared Leto. The guy's still get some pulling power. He's a fantastic actor, but also a shit of a guy, clearly, if this is the stunts he's pulling. When you look at, I mean, Jared's already won an Oscar, Stephen, for Dallas Buyers Club. He won Best Supporting Actor. Why would you want to stand in the way of a fantastic actor like Joaquin, who has not yet won an Oscar? He's not yet won an Oscar. And the guy's had so many great films. He thoroughly deserves his chance to portray the character. And as you did say, Todd Phillips specifically wrote the role for him. he always had it in his mind for him. I mind reading the interview, he says if he said no, the movie wasn't happening, so there was no other vision.
No.
He had to come in. It wasn't a personal slur on Jared Leto. It was just they were doing this different standalone story. Martin Scorsese, I think, was involved initially. He then stepped back, his production company stepped in and a production or doing a producing sort of a role in the production of the movie. I don't get what his issue is personally, but look, I says it to you, Stephen. It was a terrible. I hated Joker in the Suicide Squad. I hated it.
I don't blame him entirely for it though, John. I think the initial reaction of obviously the Suicide Squad as a whole, not just his performance in it and how much he featured in it, how he's portrayed as well, didn't sit right with me. But when this film was announced, the Todd Phillips one, he must have known. You know, you get someone of Joaquin Phoenix's caliber coming in. He knew right then he was done with the character. The fact that it's performing so well in the box office as well speaks volumes as well. And I think Jared Leto, he's not a dafty or anything like that, John. We would have known this a long time ago. You get a director like Todd Phillips coming in, and obviously Martin Scorsese's involvement as well. You can't obviously ignore. This film was going to succeed. Once it was announced, you knew it was going to succeed. Jared Leto knew this as well. I don't blame him entirely for the whole Suicide Squad, how it played out and panned out in the end. It wasn't just him, but if this is true, he's not doing himself any favours. I don't really care if it's true or not, to be honest with you, because like you, he's done. He
is done. Stephen, the character was absolutely shit. I'm not even going to try and butter it up. He was butchered though. The actual sizeable role he had in the movie was butchered. I think it's David Ayer was the director. He came out and says he was very unhappy at the fact the studio was meddling in the running time and the tone and whatnot, and then they cut out a huge part of the movie which featured Jared Leto as a Joker. So he never had a chance really. And then when you see the performance of Joaquin, you just compare that. I mean, it's right up there.
That's how you can't go back. Even if they offered him, a part in the next Suicide Squad, I don't think Leto would accept it anyway now. I think he would have seen this film, he'd have seen the Joker film and went, no, forget it. I can't follow that. No. And I don't think I should do either. So,
and they're not going to go back, Stephen, to that old formula. I think DC are done. I think they now have seen the light and realised that the best way to do it is to do independent stories. I hope they've done with this DC.
The interesting thing, John, and one of the things that I'll be keeping my eye on, like most Batman fans, is that if Reeves's The Batman succeeds, John, it kind of puts the studio in a position where they go with it, whether or not they want to detach themselves completely from the DCEU with this Batman film or not. If they detach themselves from it, they can bring back the Joker, perhaps Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. If they don't, then they're going to perhaps have to stay with that version of him. I'm not saying Jared Leto playing him, but certainly that version. I don't know, maybe they'll not.
I absolutely want to see Joaquin Phoenix appearing as the Joker now. I'm done with Jared Leto.
Yeah.
And you see the furore over this movie. No publicity is bad publicity.
No.
This movie, I've not seen crap like this since probably Ring. Back in the early 90s, just the furore and the amount of people.
The
people
Blair Witch,
the Blair Witch. Yeah. It's forcing people to go in and watch this movie just because of the controversy. You go back further, probably The Exorcist and maybe even Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
Well, like that as well. They were just highly divisive, controversial, and people were drawn in to watch it. And more people are getting to see a fantastic performance, and they're going to want to see more of it. And I think Todd Phillips and even Joaquin Phoenix have alluded to perhaps there is some light at the end of the tunnel with seeing this character again. And if we can somehow make it work where he can appear adjacent to Robert Pattinson in some Batman movie, then I absolutely want to see it. I'm done with Leto, as I did say. But look, Stephen, you're talking about the Batman.
Yeah, John, listen, I just picked up something here. This is obviously us moving on to the next article.
Yes.
And this kind of answers the question here. This is Batman movie set Michael Giacchino, or Kino, I don't know how you pronounce that.
Giacchino.
Composer. Now, I'm just reading this first paragraph here. The Batman has snagged Michael Giacchino to compose the score of the film. The Batman will be directed by Matt Reeves, as we know, and star Robert Pattinson as Batman, as we know. While Warner Brothers has been working for years to build up their DC extended universe, the Batman likely won't be part of the DCEU. akin to what Todd Phillips did with the Joker film.
Well.
So, listen, this kind of throws up more theories in my head where they're going with this. Perhaps we might see Joaquin Phoenix return as a Joker in some form. Certainly not in this film though, because we've already got some cast announcements. I don't know if they're confirmed officially or not, but certainly getting some of the characters that are going to be involved. So that's what we're not talking about just now. We're talking about obviously the composer Michael Giacchino. John, what's your thoughts on this? Because I know you're a massive fan of the composer.
Absolutely delighted, Stephen, to see this guy coming in and composing this movie. He's one of the best composers in the business today. He's kind of seen as the heir apparent to John Williams. He obviously stepped into Rogue One, got some harsh criticism for that movie. I think he had 3 weeks or something to score it. And I think he done a remarkable job in parts of that. I think it's Your Father Would Be Proud.
Brilliant.
The moment where I think it's a Hammerhead Cruiser, I think it's called.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it now, down. John. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful, Stephen. That moment where Jyn Erso puts the plans in and obviously sends them up. And then it's just that violin. He's an amazing composer.
Haunting, yeah,
and you look at just what he's been involved in. Stephen Coco was a remarkable score, beautiful. He was involved in the two Fallen Kingdom, Jurassic World movies. Jojo Rabbit coming out, obviously it's already out in the States, but it's coming out early next year here.
Yeah.
Rogue One, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, Homecoming. He just knows how to do a good score. Stephen, War for the Planet of the Apes. It goes on and on and on and on and on. It's a fantastic appointment for this movie. It's getting me more and more excited for the movie, Stephen. As you start seeing the pieces falling into place, we're finally getting a really good Batman movie again, it feels like. I don't want to be too harsh on Ben Affleck.
No.
Because Dawn of Justice, look, it was, when you've seen the extended cut, it wasn't as bad. And he was very passionate about the character. It's a shame the way things ended there.
I liked where they took Bruce Wayne as well. You know, he was the older Bruce Wayne, which we've not seen before. Well, we did see a bit of it, perhaps, maybe Dark Knight Rises. But this was one that lived and breathed Batman for many years previous to what we saw. So Ben Affleck, we know, big massive Batman fan anyway. He has held no grudges as well with the likes of Matt Reeves, and certainly I've not seen any comments in regards to the casting of Robert Pattinson from Affleck, but certainly from Christian Bale, who gives him the thumbs up and wishes him all the best. But this appointment for the composer, it's always a key part of any film franchise, John.
Well, you think, Stephen, of The Dark Knight?
Yeah.
You take that music out, it's not as good.
Yeah.
And that music was incredible. Was that Zimmer?
It was Hans Zimmer,
Hans Zimmer,
and I think, John,
I
said this to you the other day after seeing the Joker film, that there was a bit in it, and I might be wrong, I might have to watch it again, but that meeting with Arthur Fleck and Bruce Wayne at the gates, I'm convinced there was a slowed down version of the Dark Knight theme played in the film. I might be wrong. It might have just been something very similar, same instruments, I suppose. But you're right. There's something about musical scores that is its own character in the films. You mentioned John Williams, John, who always based synonymous with the Star Wars franchise, and E.T., Jaws, Indiana Jones, etc. I was about to say Harrison Ford.
But he's just not synonymous,
And Hans Zimmer again with the Dark Knight trilogy. So I think this is a great appointment. And as you said, I think he is heir to the throne for John Williams. I think the man's just, what he did on Rogue One was something short of a miracle, especially when he had such a short period of time to put it all together.
Absolutely, Stephen. You actually mentioned the Joker score. You're right. That was an incredible score. It's probably one of the best scores I've heard this year.
Yeah.
That's going to be up there when it comes to award season. It was amazing the way it was handled. I think it was Hilda. I can't even say her name, but she's worked on a range of really good movies as well. Sicario 2 and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, but just speaking again about the cast, Stephen, the general cast for this movie, the Batman. Before I go into perhaps some of the obviously casting choices, which we'll probably round up the topic.
Yeah.
The cinematographer as well worked on Rogue One. It was Greg Fraser, if I can speak.
Yeah.
He's working on The Mandalorian. He worked on Vice, which again was a really well shot movie. Even Bob Dylan, he worked on a couple of video shots with him. So he is a very good. He worked in Lion as well, which I think was that Dev Patel movie.
Yeah.
So he's a very good cinematographer as well. So Matt Reeves is just assembling a really good cast, if indeed it's him and it's not an actual overseer. You'd imagine that'd be the producer who would pick out things, but also the director will have a choice as well.
Yeah.
But the the pieces are starting to put into place are very impressive indeed. And then you look at some of the casting choices. We've just had it broken the other day. Paul Dano is playing the Riddler, also Edward Ashton, and he's a remarkable actor. I always recall him in Swiss Army Man, just a magnificent performance alongside Daniel Radcliffe. Can't wait to see him, but obviously portraying the Riddler. Jeffrey Wright is Commissioner Gordon, doing something different with that character, changing it up slightly, which is something you need after you've done Gary Oldman's version. And then who was it in? It was the guy that played was he not in Spider-Man?
It
was the other chap. No, am I talking crap?
Oh, you've got me there, John. I can't remember who played him.
You need to do something different anyway. After that iconic performance from also Gary Oldman, and they're doing that and they're getting a good actor in place. Zoe Kravitz has been brought in to play Catwoman.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Seen a lot of people not so keen on that. They're saying things like Janelle Monáe, I think it was. I think that was actually beyond the trailer that was speaking about it. I was watching her video. And I actually agree with her for a change. That would probably have been a better choice. But look, Zoe Kravitz is okay. She's been in a couple of decent movies. And her argument, I think, was that they're not wanting perhaps one of these character actors to overpower Robert Pattinson, maybe take the limelight away from him. So they're being very delicate in the way they're casting the actors around Pattinson. And I think that's the correct choice. You have to let this guy come in this first Batman movie, perhaps of a couple, and also lay down his marker and actually show that he's the man in that sense. That's the best way I can see it. And so you're going to have to be delicate in the way you do it. But look, I'm very excited for the movie anyway. I'm excited for the range of villains we seem to be having popping up. The casting's still underway. We're going to have more. There was talk of the Penguin coming in. I don't know who they'll cast.
I think it was, they did have Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill. But he was playing the Penguin. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, but the talks broke down, John. I think it might have been something to do with finances. Someone actually commented on that. It's just as you said, you know, they don't want to take the limelight away from Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
This was one of the big problems with Tim Burton's original 1989 film, John, where Jack Nicholson overshadowed the whole production, as he should have. Yeah. Probably Jack the biggest star at the point, still one of the biggest stars in the world, but certainly in '89, he was a bigger star than Michael Keaton, who was more, I don't want to say up and coming, they'd obviously been around for a good decade, but certainly he was getting to his peak at that point, but certainly not on the same level as Jack Nicholson. No. And obviously, wage packets were slightly different as well. Bit like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Batman and Robin,
Robert Downey Jr. in the MCU.
Who was Schwarzenegger was actually the headline for Batman and Robin. He wasn't even playing Batman or Robin, so which would have been weird. But playing Robin especially. But
I'm Bird. I can't do his accent. I'm not even trying.
No, but I think you're right. I think all the elements are all starting to fall into place, and it's all positive as well.
It is.
Because it's always hard to pick up after a character or a franchise has taken a few knocks. Certainly Christopher Nolan had a big job in his hands with that first Batman Begins film back in 2005, which we've actually just watched. Again, a terrific film.
Fantastic. Still
but
my favourite.
Coming off the back of obviously Batman and Robin from '97, I think it was, I want to say. It certainly was, John. So I think Matt Reeves knows what he's doing. I'm certain of it. And I think, as you said, you know, Affleck's version wasn't that bad at all. You know, it was actually decent. It was just everything, you know, in regards to the studio was falling apart at that point. But I'm looking forward to it. Robert Pattinson playing Bruce Wayne. I can't think of anyone else I would rather want to see playing, obviously, the Playboy millionaire and obviously the Cape Crusader. But John, I don't know if you've got anything more to
just
add.
Briefly to say, Stephen, that you're absolutely right about Matt Reeves. He's a guy that seems to understand it. The moment that really dropped for me that they'd made the correct choice was when he was posting up a shot of I think it was the 50th anniversary of Batman, or maybe even further back, 60th, 70th. It was like the
80,
first,
I think it might be
80th, Jesus Christ, I'm way out.
Yeah.
The first edition though of the Batman comic, when he was posting up photographs of that just shows you the guy he's steeped in the history of this character. He's a big fan of the comics, gets it, and that's what you need to do. That's what the MCU and Marvel have been doing, Disney, if you'd like, with Kevin Feige. They've got guys on board who are steeped in the history of the comics, they know the characters, and I just think DC are on a roll now. They're starting to get into a stride, and it's brilliant because I absolutely love the DC characters. I've said it time and again. They have traditionally been the characters I've loved more.
Yeah, DC heavy this week, John, on heroes. We're going to move on to our final article, and this is DC related once more. And it's Suicide Squad 2 set photos that explain a massive cast. This is coming in from Screen Rant, John. There's certainly a few photographs there. and obviously cast announcements as well, which are very interesting. I'll let you in, John, anyway with that, because you obviously have looked into the cast, who is going to be portraying who in this film. But obviously a few favourites, a few familiar favourites are coming back from the original film from a few years ago.
Stephen, there's some very interesting characters popping up in this, as you'd imagine would with James Gunn being involved. This is a guy who gave us Guardians of the Galaxy and some very interesting and colourful characters in that film, and he's doing it again here, Stephen, by the looks of it. There's behind the scenes shots of actors. I think Nathan Fillion's definitely one of them, and he's apparently playing a character called Arm Fall Off Boy. Now you search this character up and it literally is what it says. His arm falls off. Don't know what he does with it. Maybe he beats the shit out of people with his arm. I don't know. That sounds like something out of Mystery Men, more so than perhaps a DC comic. But look,
or Kick-Ass,
if anybody can do anything with it, then it's going to be James Gunn. And then you've got the likes of Blackguard in there. You've got Savant. I think that's Michael Rooker. No, it's not. It's Davidson that's playing him. Michael Rooker's playing some other chap. I think that's Savant. I don't know. I've lost the plot, but certainly there's a whole array of very interesting characters. I don't think Michael Rooker's playing Savant, incidentally. He's got a blonde head affair, that character, so no. But you've got the likes of Weasel and Mongol and stuff like that in there. And we actually see that. We see the Mongol character on the set behind the scenes shot, and it's this, you described her as a what? A Cheeto? Looking like a Cheeto, a what's it? Yeah, she's very orange and she's got a flamboyant mohawk hairdo. Yeah. But yeah, look, the photos are very interesting, Stephen. As again, we spoke about this before. I think we had Polka Dot Man and whatnot. Hammerhead, I think, was another one. Yeah. We had an array of very colourful, exotic characters popping up. It is a soft reboot. We've heard one of the producers say it's an out-and-out reboot. And this is, again, just confirming that. When you see these behind-the-scenes shots, you see these very different characters from what we've seen in the original or the previous Suicide Squad. Although we have got a couple of returning faces. The Jai Courtney, I think the chap's name is. I always forget his squad name. Jai Courtney. He's coming back. You've got Harley Quinn coming back, Margot Robbie. So you've got a couple of returning. Apparently Rick Flag, Joel Kinnaman's coming back too. I thought he wasn't coming back, but you've got these returning faces armed and bolstered with this array of...
Waititi as well.
Taika Waititi's coming in, which is very interesting. We were speaking about that. Viola Davis is returning.
We're actually talking about his Twitter the other day, John,
talking about his Twitter.
Yeah, very funny.
Talking about Jojo Rabbit and why it's not arriving in Germany as quickly as it is in the States, and you know why. But yeah, Stephen, what the hell do you make of this cast, this colourful cast? Is there anybody better in the business to tackle this cast, bring it all together and make it work than James Gunn?
No, because he's got previous, John, obviously with Guardians of the Galaxy, dealing with big cast members as well, big names in there, and how to deal with them. Even if Will Smith did come back, I don't think it would have been an issue with James Gunn, how he would handled him, because that was one of the things. I'm going off on a bit of a tangent, John, but I think one of my concerns was with that first film, the Suicide Squad, from a couple of years ago, was Will Smith's presence, and would he overshadow the rest of the cast? Certainly didn't. Margot Robbie took limelight on that film, and rightly so. But I don't think it's a character they're not writing off. Obviously, at some point, I think Will Smith will come back. I think this is due to scheduling.
It is, yeah.
Obviously, with the film that's just been released that he's doing. But I think James Gunn's the right person. Obviously, when he took this on, this was in the midst of all the controversy he had with Marvel. Didn't look like he was going to be working with them again. Thankfully, they sorted all that stuff out. Taika Waititi obviously was supposed to be taking the reins of the next Guardians film, but took a step back when James Gunn was reappointed to the franchise, and I think this is obviously James Gunn rewarding his good director friend with a part in this film. Absolutely,
Stephen. I'm laughing there because I was trying to find out which of the characters was that magnificent yellow and blue adorned, if you like, character with the sweeping blue, or the blonde hair I should say, and apparently that is Javelin Man, I think it is.
Javelin Man.
Javelin Man. I'm trying to find out who the hell it is it's playing him. It's something Borg, but he looks absolutely incredible, that character.
Yeah, sounds Swedish.
You know, I was going to destroy the character, Stephen, but then I had to go back and think about when the photos leaked of the set on Shazam, and Zachary Levi in his suit, and I thought that suit is absolutely ridiculous looking. This movie's going to be a disaster. And it turned out it wasn't. It had the right blend of humour. And I think this is something we'll probably see carrying over to this movie. Hopefully it'll not be as dark as the Suicide Squad. I seem to recall it was pretty dark with obviously elements of humour with Harley Quinn in there.
I think it had to be though, John,
because
it was sort of tied in with obviously what they'd done with
the DCEU.
the Batman and Superman films. So obviously the tone had to remain kind of the same. So I can understand why elements of that were quite dark.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see that in this movie, Stephen. I think with obviously James Gunn coming on board, his history for giving us very music heavy and comedic heavy movies, I think you will see more comedy in this. It will be lighter, akin to what we've seen in Shazam and even Aquaman in parts. Flula Borg is the guy, incidentally, that's playing Javelin. He's a German YouTube personality, actor, musician and comedian.
I got it right the first time. I did say German and I switched to Sweden, but with that in Bjorg, you know.
But he's a very interesting looking character, and this cast is very interesting. Final thing I'll add is that they do say that we will perhaps see much like I think what we've seen in Suicide Squad, we had an early mission where a cut of people were killed off very quickly to show obviously what happens. They have these collars. If they step out of line, then they get obviously killed. Heads get blown up essentially. I think that's what happened. It's been a while. But there's alluding that there could be a fake Suicide Squad, kind of like what we got in Deadpool 2, where we had his squad and then they get killed, wiped out one by one. That's what will happen at the start. We'll have a fake Suicide Squad, they'll all get killed, and then we'll have the guys that are going to be helming the movie going forward, stepping in after them. So I don't know if that's true. I don't know how many of these characters we've seen will make the actual final cut, have sizable roles in the final cut of the movie. Will we see Javelin? I certainly hope we do for that suit alone. Hopefully we get Polka Dot Man in there and Arm Fall Off Boy. And I'm sure Michael Rooker, whoever the hell he plays, will be magnificent. I remembered his name this week. Usually when I speak about Michael, I forget his name. He played Meadow, obviously, in Yondu, in which I also remembered. I usually forget. I'm not got much more to add, Stephen. I'm giving it away. I'm very excited for this movie. Excited to see James Gunn jumping between the MCU and DC, and hopefully we'll get 2 great movies from him on either sides of that divide. But look, that is going to round up the show. On that note, what the hell did you guys make of the array of topics we spoke about this week? What do you think about Jared Leto being a sneaky, conniving little bitch, going behind Joaquin Phoenix and Todd Phillips' back and trying to get a great movie shut down? Is he a sneaky bitch or is it all speculation? What the hell do you make about the Suicide Squad and, of course, Michael Giacchino joining the Batman? If you've got anything to say about any of them, you can comment below and let us know what your thoughts are in that comment section down below. Like the video if you've enjoyed it and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content. Me and Stephen will be back tomorrow with another episode or rendition, if you'd like, of Movie News.